Well, if you're coming to the food bank, you're not having a good day, especially if it's your first day, right? And so a lot of the things that people face when they're living with food insecurity, or if they're living with a lower budget food to access, we see lots of problems, right? So higher stress, for sure, in the household. If you're, the only budget you have really to take any money out of is your food budget. You have to pay your rent, you have to pay your car, you have to pay to go to school, you have to pay for daycare, you have to pay for your lights and your heat. And so when something comes up, your food budget is the only flexible budget you have. And so we see people pulling money out of this and really, really going without. And that creates a lot of stress. I mean, the implications of going without food is different when you look at family dynamics, but the stress and isolation of being food insecure and maybe not having a support system to ask for, maybe the embarrassment that comes with it because you have a certain standard of living in your culture that you have to uphold or pretend to uphold, then we know the longer you go without nutrient dense foods, you're starving your body, you know, and so complex problems start to persist the longer you live in food insecure situations. And so we see hypertension, diabetes, obesity, stress in the family goes up. You know, if you're living in a food insecure home and you're a family, you have children to support, imagine the stress around trying to put a meal on the table when there's not a meal in the house to put on the table. So oftentimes we see people coming in various degrees, right? And one of the things we never want people to do is to go until you're completely without, right? Please come to the food bank so we can try to avoid some of those situations. Recently worked with a young family, and there was two parents, both working, two kids, two nice sons that they had, and the husband was in a car accident through no fault of his own. And, you know, I think before we met this family, they lived at their means. You know, they had two paying jobs. And after Dad was in a car accident, it was many months. He can't work. He was critically injured. And so they depleted all of their savings. You know, family and friends, they could only help them so much until they couldn't. And I remember when this mom came into the food bank in tears, you know, and she just said she didn't have any food in her house and she didn't know what to do and she didn't know where else to go. And you know, we embraced her as the food bank, and you know, offered her our supports, but as humans, right? Like that is a very moving, and it's an all too familiar story coming in here. And so the great thing about the food bank is, you know, she came in. Of course, we provided her with food, but we connected her with family outreach because we have partner agencies that are housed here as well. So she got to work with a family outreach worker to help with some stuff for her sons, connected her with family counseling. We had family counseling in our building at that time, connected her with the mobile food market, so offering, you know, really affordable produce. And the idea is with her and with anybody that you leave feeling in a better place that you were, you know, and it's really important to recognize every scenario that comes into the food bank is different. We support a lot of unsheltered folks, you know, so folks who are sleeping rough, living outside, or they're homeless. And, you know, the programs and services that we have, they're not a one size fits all, right? We have to adapt the way we support people. And so, you know, folks who are unhoused without an address, instead of coming once a month, they can come once a week, right? So they get smaller amounts of food, and then they're able to come back. So it works better for them in their situation.